The home on Duquesne Avenue in Trafford is decorated for Halloween. Fake blood on the door and a sign that says Dead Man's Diner. An eerie sight when you know what happened here just a few hours before. Trafford police rushed to the home to find Robert Shawley with a stab wound to the upper right chest near his shoulder. He died a few hours later at Forbes Regional Hospital.
He was a great guy, and it's just shocking. It's right across the street.
Police say Deborah Shawley stabbed her husband and took off, hitching a ride from a passing motorist on Route 993 near Irwin and finally being caught by North Huntingdon police. Witnesses called 911 to say they saw her carrying a bloody knife, and before she left Trafford, police say she dumped the murder weapon in Sarah Shockley's trash. She and her neighbors discovered it this morning and called police.
It looked like not a butcher knife, but a really long, what you would cut your potatoes with, like really long. It really was scary because it made it more realistic. I mean, I knew what happened last night, and it was scary, but to actually see that could have been the actual murder weapon in front of my house really freaked me out.
According to records we uncovered at the Westmoreland County Courthouse, the murder happened on the couple's 25th wedding anniversary, but court documents indicate theirs was not a happy marriage. In 2002, a mental health petition was filed that required Mrs. Shawley to undergo involuntary psychiatric care. Later that year, she filed for divorce, but never went through with it. Instead, she moved to East Pittsburgh, but visited her husband in Trafford frequently. Deborah Shawley is charged with criminal homicide. She's being held in the Westmoreland County Jail without bond. Now, New at 6 will tell you what else we found in those divorce papers that indicate a very rocky past. Reporting live in Westmoreland County, I'm Jennifer Mealy, Channel 4 Action News.
Senseless acts of violence are usually associated with guns or knives, but it's not every day that someone is arrested for assault with a deadly squirrel. Helen Ann Williams of North Charleston, South Carolina, was charged with criminal domestic violence of a high and aggravated nature. Police say she stabbed her husband in the chest and shoulder with a ceramic squirrel. She sent him out to buy beer on Christmas Eve, but stores were closed, and he came home empty-handed. That's when police say she stabbed him with the squirrel. Her husband was not seriously injured. Williams was held on $10,000 bond.
Big story today at noon. A Boynton Beach woman is behind bars accused of plotting to kill her new husband.
News Channel 5's Nichelle King is live at the Boynton Beach Police Department with how officers made the arrest and her husband's reaction. Nichelle?
All right, well, that woman's named Dahlia DiPolito, and this morning she started off her days devastated in tears on a report from police that her husband had been shot in the head twice and killed. Police say it was actually Dahlia DiPolito who ordered that hit. Her husband not killed. Now, police saying the tears that she was crying for him are tears she needs to be crying for herself.
Anything, and I didn't plot anything.
Okay, we got shot. Dahlia DiPolito came home to a fake crime scene here at the couple's home in Renaissance Commons in Boynton Beach this morning. By then, officers had already told her unaware husband his wife had plotted to kill him. Investigators say he was stunned and in denial.
I feel a little bad, but I mean, there's no reason she had to do this, you know. She was well off. She could have just left and did just as well by leaving.
Investigators say last Friday, 26-year-old Dahlia DiPolito tried to hire a hitman to kill her 38-year-old husband, Michael. That hitman turned out to be an undercover Boynton Beach cop. He says Dahlia paid him $1,200 up front to secure the deal and get a gun. The rest of the $3,000 she'd paid when the hit was done, confirming with a phony hitman a, quote, solid deal. The phony hitman met with Dahlia a second and third time to confirm the hit. She told him, quote, I'm 5,000% sure I want it done. When I set my mind to do something, I get it done.
Here's a woman who's saying she's 5,000% sure she wants her to pay for her husband to be killed. And then at the scene you have a woman who is sobbing uncontrollably because she's just learned that her husband is dead.
Now, so far, Boynton Beach police say that they have no motive in this murder-for-hire plot. In the meantime, Dahlia DiPolito, you saw just a moment ago, headed on her way to jail, facing a felony charge for solicitation to commit murder. That is latest live here in Boynton Beach. Nichelle King, WPTV, News Channel 5.
No!
Witnesses said they saw a black male running from you. I can't let you see him now. Ma'am, can I do this right now? Detective Yopi, I need you to take her to the station. I can't. Go with these detectives. If you want to help your husband, okay? If you want to help your husband, you need to go to the station with these young and tell us everything you know about who he knows, who he's connected to. Don't worry, we've already taken care of your husband under control right now. Everything's under control.
That would-be killer was actually an undercover police officer. Police hatched a plan that could only be scripted in Hollywood. They say they did it just to prove how cold and calculating this woman really is.
In this video taken by police, newlywed Dahlia DiPolito appears unconsolable, even devastated, as they break the news that her husband Mike has been murdered. But in a scene straight out of a movie, the crime scene was fake, and so were the tears. Her husband was actually alive. Detectives had set her up. They say DiPolito was no victim, just a bad actress in a murder-for-hire plot.
It was hard to keep a straight face, quite honestly. Amidst all of that tremors and shaking of her body, there wasn't any real tears coming out of her eyes.
I didn't do anything, and I didn't plot anything.
The alleged crime began when officers say they received a tip that DiPolito was planning to hire a hitman to kill her husband of only 6 months.
We then moved forward to introduce her to who she believed to be a hitman. That hitman was our undercover officer.
They met at this gas station, and she allegedly paid him $1,200 and even offered to get her hair done to create an alibi.
She was very cool and confident, and that when she makes up her mind, she doesn't change it, and she was 5,000% sure she wanted him killed.
But the morning the crime was supposed to take place, Mike DiPolito got a knock at the door. Only it wasn't a hitman, it was the police.
Like, come with me immediately. I'm like, what did I do? Like, you know, I didn't know what's going on. But anyway, you know, your wife's trying to have you killed. And I'm like, what?
Mike left the house, and that's when detectives called Dahlia at this gym, telling her to come home immediately. When she arrived, she got the tragic news that her husband was dead. Police then took DiPolito to the station and put her face to face with the hitman, who was actually the undercover detective. And then the biggest shock. Her husband appeared.
When she saw her husband and realized he was alive, she gasped a very loud, "Oh my God," with her eyes very wide. And, you know, it appeared that she was shocked at the moment that her plan obviously wasn't real.
It took a little while to resonate. There was a lot of funny business going on here for a long time, just unexplained money and things. And, you know, it just makes a lot of sense. And it's like a movie, you know.
Mike DiPolito says he doesn't know why exactly she would allegedly want to kill him, but he did say strange things started happening after he married Dahlia. Cash he gave her for bills would go missing, and he was getting notes left on his truck demanding money. She's now been charged with solicitation to commit first-degree murder. I think it's safe to say the honeymoon is probably over at this point.
Yes, but the husband is remarkably bouncy for the news that he's just learned. Well, more to come on the story. Thank you, Andrea.